Hey everyone, I'm John Maxey, and today I'm talking to Ms. Rourke about the proposed budget that was just proposed last month, correct?
Correct. Our proposed budget was presented in the month of May, and our final budget will be approved in the month of June, late June.
So what does that mean, proposed?
So, by law, we, as a district and as a school board, have to adopt something called a proposed final budget, which really gives the public an opportunity to vet our budget and to review it for 30 days prior to adoption of the final budget. Our proposed final budget in May was presented with our almost final recommendations for staffing and programs. We still have 30 days in house as well to refine those programs one more time and to refine our staffing recommendations. And to answer any, tie up any loose ends, answer any questions before presenting a final budget in the month of June.
And what will happen in the month of June?
So during the month of June, we will take the first few weeks of June to again do that homework, kind of refine our projections. We have some questions about federal revenues that we need to get answered. We have some questions about state revenues, and we have a few questions about some local tax collection issues. So we're going to use those weeks to internally review those revenue projections. We also going to take another pass at our staffing projections and our enrollment trends for next year. And then we will present all those publicly the third Monday in June, and then the fourth Monday in June we hope for adoption of our final budget.
Okay. And what is included in this new proposed budget?
So the proposed final budget was a little bit controversial because it included about a 4.5% tax increase, which, for those of you that weren't at our May meeting, we recognized that was too high, and we publicly committed to bringing it down. Our goal is to bring it down somewhere closer to 3.5. Between 3.5 and 4, I think, is still high, but our goal again is to get it down to 3.5. Okay. It was high because we do have, some things that are challenging for the 16-17 school year.
And what are some of those programs that are seeing that you're noticing need an increase in spending?
Okay. There's really three areas that are driving the need for a significant tax increase in 16-17. The first is called PSERS, which is the Pennsylvania State Retirement System. The retirement system has been in crisis for probably the past 5 or 6 years and continues to be a crisis for us. The rates that the district has to pay into the retirement system are just unsustainable. There's lots of talk last year in Harrisburg that the retirement crisis was going to be addressed and that PSERS was going to be fixed, and it didn't happen. We're not hearing so much for 16-17. So as long as that problem remains, as crazy as it is, we are going to have to spend significant dollars on retirement. And those are mandated dollars. We cannot choose to not pay retirement. I mean, it's a mandated program, so we have to pay those costs. PSERS alone is increasing our budget by about $3.1 million next year.
Okay, and you just brought up the word mandate. Can you explain, why these programs need so much money because they are unfunded mandates?
Sure. So the second driver of our budget next year is special education. So special education and PSERS are both what are called unfunded or underfunded mandates. A mandate is a rule or a proclamation by the state or federal government that the school district has to do something. It tells them very specifically how to do it. But quite often the federal and state government, while they tell you how to do it, they don't provide you the funding to do it. So those burdens really fall back on the local community, and that's again one of the reasons that our taxes are really seeing an increase next year.
Are these programs getting more expensive? Well, are the mandates getting more expensive?
Mandates, they get more expensive every year, and they're just honestly rising at a pace right now that is quicker than any local economic growth. So while those expenses are increasing leaps and bounds, we only have a little bit of local growth, so it just puts a burden again right back on the taxpayers in our community.
Yeah, I understand. Now, is there one more program that's going to that needs an increase in spending?
Sure. So the third factor driving our budget increase in our proposed budget next year is our need for additional classroom teachers. I think our proposed final budget included, I want to say 12 to 14, I think it was 14 new classroom teachers for our elementary and middle schools. I'm sure that many people are aware that our class sizes are a little larger, especially at the elementary level, and it's something that I think we're committed to addressing. And unfortunately, addressing that means an investment in staff. I think that Our principals, our existing teachers, anyone who is in our elementary and middle schools would agree that the investment is overdue. And I think in 16-17, we're looking for our community and our board to commit to investing in staff.
It definitely is. Driving down those class sizes is key. Is it mostly going to be at the elementary level, the increase in staffing?
No, it's actually going to be at the elementary and middle. I think the high school is the only one not slated for significant staff increases, but I think that almost every elementary and almost every middle school is slated to see new teachers. And again, it's classroom teachers, responsible for instruction and responsible for affecting the lives of our students and improving our programs.
Okay. Now, on top of figuring out where to, spread that money and put that money, especially with those three big programs, is the state budget chaos influencing our proposed budget at all?
Sure. So, everything in Harrisburg is just still in this state of chaos, like you said. We don't know yet what we're going to get from Harrisburg for 16-17. They have not finalized their state budget, which means we don't know what we're getting. Unfortunately, we have to finalize our budget whether they do or not. So we're making our best guesses, and we're also, monitoring what's going on in Harrisburg closely. It's just this state of chaos and, disconnect that's happening that's really making our projections very, very challenging.
Call your representatives, I guess, right?
Call them, visit them, text them, you stalk them.
All right, well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that I just want to share in closing that, the final budget will not be adopted until the fourth Monday in June, and the proposed final budget was presented in May. I think just alleviating some of the concerns about the 4.5% tax increase, I think should be helpful because, again, we know that's too high and we're committed to bringing that down.
All right. Is the June meeting open to the public?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, if you're interested in learning more about the proposed budget, attend the June school board meeting, correct? Do you know the date?
I think it's the 20th or the 27th, whichever is the fourth Monday in June.
Okay. You can also find it on the district website. But thank you for talking to me, Ms. Warwick. She just detailed the proposed budget for 2016-2017 school year. And now back to the Eagle's Eye.